done, I'll be explaining today why full employment is not the same as 0% unemployment. An optimist would look at this and say that there's 95% employment. 950 people who want to be working are working. A pessimist would look at this and say that there's 5% unemployment. 50 people who want jobs are out of work right now. But an economist would look at that and say that that is an economy at full employment, and that 5% unemployment is better than good. It's a little confusing at first to hear that full employment does not mean there is 0% unemployment, but the concept is actually extremely easy to understand. The definition of full employment simply states that the most amount of skilled and unskilled labor that can be employed in an economy is employed at a given time. The definition also states that any remaining amount of unemployment is frictional. This is probably the most important part of the definition because it begins to explain why wanting an economy with 0% unemployment is unrealistic. The word unemployment has a pretty negative connotation, but there actually is something called voluntary unemployment. Students who work during the summer but choose to focus on school during the fall and winter account for this unemployment, as well as new graduates who wait out for the best employment offer. A common belief by citizens is that 0% unemployment would be a good thing. If the economy in the United States ever did reach a 0% unemployment rate, however, I doubt many people would be happy. The only way that this could ever even remotely be possible is if everybody was assigned a job from the time that they could begin working until the time that they retired, and they had no room to switch jobs. Mark Toma, a professor at the University of Oregon, brought up the point that if you wanted to switch jobs, you would have to find someone at the exact same job to take your job, or else one of you would be unemployed at some point. Going back to what I just said about there not really being able to be a way for us to have 0% unemployment, the more reasonable goal is to want the economy to be at, or at least near, its natural unemployment rate. There is no one clear-cut number that is the natural unemployment rate for the economy, but most economists agree that it is somewhere between 5.5 and 6%. This graph here shows from 1945 to 2000 the actual unemployment rate and the natural unemployment rate throughout the years. The first arrow points at about 1960, and you can see just how close the two got. In 1972, the two lines meet, meaning that the natural unemployment rate was at the actual unemployment rate. If you look up anything about the economy in 1972, every source you can find states that the economy was booming, strong, and growing. This second graph shows the unemployment rate for more recent years in the economy from 2010 to 2012. You can see how it is slowly decreasing. Around 2012, it looks like it ends at about 7.75%, which is still a bit higher than the highest natural unemployment rate of 6%. At first, it may not seem like a voting citizen who believes that the economy should have 0% unemployment is really such a bad thing. However, when people believe that 5% unemployment is bad and that we need to have 0% unemployment, they will never be happy with the state of the economy. When people don't believe that the economy is doing well, it affects their voting, their shopping, and even their outlook on life. With this in mind, it's important to remember, don't view the economy with a 5% unemployment rate as a pessimist. View the economy as an economist. Any questions?
Ms. Dunn, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Bill Schweitzer, President and CEO of Employer HCS, LLC. I appreciate your presentation. One thing I'm curious about, we didn't hear much about, we understand that 5% unemployment is better than good, but what are some of the problems associated with unemployment being lower than that 5%?
It's lower than that, then I sort of touched on it. There's not really much room for any competition as far as if you want a different job. And it's kind of hard to say that you want to go to a different job because you wouldn't be able to leave the one that you're at.
Okay. Would you expect any impact on wages in conditions of very low unemployment?
The wages wouldn't be very good because everybody would have a job, and so there wouldn't really be any worry of anybody leaving the job that they were at to get a new one because there wouldn't be openings, so it wouldn't really matter what companies pay their employees.
So is it fair to say then